Hi everyone, I'm about to install my new outdoor shed, but first I want to show you the cheapest and easiest way to make your shed foundation by yourself DIY. The very first step is going to be to pick the location, and the flatter the location, the less leveling work you'll have to do. And the first material we're going to need on your list is some 4x4. As you can see, I'm mocking up approximately 4 feet by 6 feet, and that's the rectangle form we're going to create to build our foundation. And once we've mocked and marked our area, it's going to be time to dig so we can put together our form and put it inside. But of course, since the soil in my backyard was really hard, I used my electric tiller and it helped tremendously remove the dirt. So if you have one, definitely use it. But if you do it right after it rains, it's very easy to do without any tool. So we want to dig about 6 inches, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to use about 2 inches layers of rocks at the bottom. Then we're going to lay our 4x4 form, which is going to be 6 inches depth. So as you dig, you can use the 4x4 beam to help you gauge with a measuring tape. Once you reach 6 inches, stop. It's going to be time to level. And you definitely want to find the longest level that you have at your disposal to make this process even easier. So as you can see, I've already done the work. It's pretty flat, and use any kind of flat tool you have at your disposal to be able to compact the ground once it's leveled. And now it's time to lay our 2 inches layer of rocks. Honestly, just source the rocks wherever you can. I'm reusing landscaping rocks that I had in my backyard that I'm not using anymore. But keep in mind that we're going to use more than 2 inches because we're going to also fill the form that we're going to build with our 4x4 beams. So far, this should be fairly easy for everyone and give you a good workout. And once you've reached that 2 inches layer, make sure that everything is level and compact. And now it's about time to cut our wooden form. Remember that we want the inside of the rectangle to be 4 feet by 6 feet. And remember, we're not building furniture, so it doesn't need to be perfect. We just want to have a couple of deck screws so the rectangle stays in place. So don't be intimidated. You can even just use a handsaw and a couple of screwdrivers and it'll work the same, except you'll have another workout. And as you can see, the form fits perfectly into the hole that I dug. So remember that you want the inside to be 6 by 4. So you have to account for the 4 inches of the form, and you want to dig a couple of inches extra just in case. And now it's time to fill the form, and we want to add 3 inches layer of rocks compacted, so you can keep compacting it as you fill it with the rocks. And the reason why we want to fill it up to 3 inches is because we're going to add the last layer of concrete pads, and those are 12 inches by 12 inches. You're going to need 15, and they're very easy to find everywhere. So as you fill up the form, use one pad to mock up and gauge to see your depth, and do it as you compact as well, so you know where you are compared to the top of the wooden beam. Be sure to frequently mock up and level as you go, so you want to have the most level and flat surface possible. Now we're going to use a thin layer of sand to fill all the little gaps between the rocks and give us a flat surface where we're gonna be able to put our cement pads. And for reference, it took me about 4 bags to level and fill the pavement sand beneath the concrete pads. And once the surface is completely level, it's time to install the concrete pads, and I used a little piece of wood that was 1/2 inch by 1 inch to separate them perfectly. This part was actually quite satisfying, and again, don't forget to always measure and always level. You want to end up with the most level surface possible, but as you can see, in just a few minutes, I was able to get this. Very last step is going to be to fill the gaps with some pavement sand, but you can also use gravel or whatever you have at your disposal that will hold the pads together. And this is what it looks like after the final step. We're gonna check if it's leveled. It should be, because I've checked that all the way through. So let's see, it is perfectly leveled, as you can see. And now you have several options. You can build your shed directly on top of this, but since I want a floor, I'm going to use a thick, heavy-duty piece of plywood that I'm going to cut 3 by 5, then bolt them to the pads and build my shed on top of it. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. Now it's time for me to build the shed.